Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Thursday, January 2nd, and we are here wishing you a happy and healthy new year. All right, come on. Don't be frittering away your time. I know you're exhausted. You had a big holiday. Everyone's relaxing. Mark, Mark Talercio, my co-host, is joining us. Mark, do you do your financial resolutions or not?
There are no financial resolutions. The only resolution that I have around the new year is to rebalance, but no resolutions. I'm expecting this, knock on wood, to be a calmer year. It was exactly basically 1 year ago today that we were making our move.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
So that was busy and cost a lot of money and all the other stuff that comes along with it. So I'm expecting this to be a bit calmer year for me. I hope. What's up? What about anything big planned for you? I know you have a big trip later this year, right?
Later in the year, a big trip, but no, we'll have some normal travel. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be I feel like sort of drinking from the fire hose work-wise at CBS. And so I'm trying to just prepare for that and make sure that we are telling good stories and giving you the information you need then on television, on radio, and podcasts. You know, it's a lot. And it can be a little bit exhausting, this incoming administration, I anticipate. And just because, the back and forth part of it. And so I'm trying to, get ready for that. And I think it'll be fine. I'm just preparing myself mentally. And I think that that's probably a good idea for all of us to just sort of settle into a different kind of a cadence of what we expect. So that being said, what do you expect in your financial life this year? Or do you need some help with your resolutions or not? You just need some help from us. Go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the contact us button. Write us a note. That's the email we receive. If you want to check the box, Mark will arrange to get you on the air live. That's what he did with Dan, who's on the line from the great Garden State of New Jersey. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Hi, Jill. Hi, Mark. Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. What can we do for you?
So I have a little bit of a philosophical matter I'd love to have you guys opine on. Mid-40s, married, one child, a 12-year-old son. Also have a furry child who, candidly, is probably just as expensive as my child. I have been managing my money since I'm about 20 years old. And to put that in context, managing money at 20 years old was a $300, Ameritrade account.
Hey, listen, that's pretty good.
Sure. I think my username at the time was BudFox12345.
Love that. Very good Wall Street reference. Excellent.
Yeah. But I've accumulated what I think is a good amount of assets for my age. Again, I'm in my mid 40s. About probably 4 or 5 months ago, had a bit of an epiphany around the idea that my career, if you think about it in terms of a mountain, was kind of at the top, and I was kind of no longer ascending in terms of career duration. My descent had kind of started. I was on, kind of on the back nine, if you will, of my career. And, I work in financial services. I've been extraordinarily fortunate to work, at a great company with great colleagues. And have earned, a great income with great benefits. And I'm almost 100% self-taught in terms of asset allocation and money management. And I have followed probably an extraordinarily boring yet disciplined approach to managing my money and my family's money. And I have never worked with an advisor or a consultant. And as I think about what the next 10 or 15 years look like, I've really kind of caught wind of perhaps a little bit of the FIRE movement, but really the idea that, I'm probably not going to work into my late 60s. I'd really like to work for another, 10 or 15 years. And I'm at the point where, because I have followed, a self-taught method for 20 plus years, if I take this philosophical shift around, cutting a career short, do I really need to put a plan, like a real formalized plan in place?
You know me, I love myself a plan. I like a plan. I mean, and you're a do-it-yourselfer. So what would you think? It sounds like you're sort of dismissive of that. Why?
I think because I've been, to be honest, Jill, the plan that I kind of mentally drew out for myself at 25 years old has not changed in almost 20 something years.
Yeah, but you could retest the number. It's not so bad, no?
Yeah. I think it's more about, again, and I think I've learned along the ways that, keep it simple, stupid sometimes is the path of least resistance.
Yeah. That's true.
But it really is about ensuring that my thought process in terms of how I'm allocating capital, the different buckets, if you will, and candidly, like, do I have enough? Will there be enough there at the end of the day? So again, it's more philosophical than anything else.
Well, okay. So you want to talk about this? You want to break it down? Do you want us to do a quick plan for you? Let's do it.
Happy to.
You're in your 40s. How old are you? Did you say 40? What?
46.
Okay. And so let's break it down right now.
Sure.
Tell us what you got.
Maybe I'll start with my house first. That's kind of the easiest. My house is probably, let's call it, to use even numbers, $1.4 million. I have $290,000 left on a 15-year mortgage at 2.5%.
Okay. And when is that 15-year up?
I'm 4 years in, so I have 11 more years.
Okay, 11 years to go. Okay, great. Okay, go.
I have retirement investments in the aggregate of $2.2 million, of which half of that is in a Roth. I have $2.2 million in a brokerage account.
So you only want to do 2.2s. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I can assure you, purely coincidental.
That's great. This is awesome. These are huge numbers.
So 2.2 in a brokerage account, of which 200 is earmarked in high yield cash instruments.
Okay.
Kind of my rainy day fund, so to speak.
All right, great. And is any of that money needing? Do we need to spend any of this money on anything coming up?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So
Nope.
House, retirement, brokerage, the 200, your emergency reserve embedded in your brokerage. Anything else? Any rental property, second homes, anything like that?
No, the only other assets, I've got about $108,000 in a 529 for my son, and then about 60 in an UTMA for him.
How old is he?
12.
Did you mention a spouse or not?
Yes, I'm coming up on 20 years of marriage. So yes, my wife is 2 years younger than I am.
And does she work full time as well?
She works part-time. Her income, it's a bit variable. She could have, a great year, a good year, an average year. But she probably, averages anywhere between, $40,000 and $60,000 a year of income.
Okay. And what about you? Like when you say, I'm going to work for another 10 or 12 years, I mean, do you think you'll be doing the same thing? Like, what's your view on like what the next dozen years holds for you professionally? I mean,
yeah, I mean, I say unfortunately, but also fortunately at the same time. I'm a client-facing executive in a financial services company. I have had clients for 20 years in some instances. So there's a lot of security in that, but there's also elements of complacency in that. Again, I
get that. I get it. I know exactly what you mean. It's like, well, they always need me, but then you have some merger and something happens and boom, you're out of a job. Right.
Of course.
How much money are you saving every year on your big fat financial service company salary, which I presume is big and fat, I hope?
Probably into six figures, aside from the retirement elements, which are automatic, which have always been kind of rule number one, right? Pay yourself first, max everything that can be deferred.
But when you say six figures, you're putting like $500,000 a year away or $100,000?
No, on an after-tax basis, probably close to $100,000.
Okay, so 23 plus 100. Does your wife maintain her own retirement plan for the part-time income or not?
She does not. She has an IRA that we fund for her, but she has nothing set up through her LLC.
Do you think that, like, for right now, the only big thing on the horizon for you within the next 10 or 12 years is the kid going to college, right?
Correct.
Are you putting money actively in the 529 or not?
Yes, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,100 to $1,200 a month. Comes right out of my paycheck. I don't even see it.
And you're in the New Jersey plan?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, good. Very good.
Jill, one more thing I forgot to add, and I'm sure this will be music to your ears. I work for an employer that still has an active pension.
Come on, Mark. What do you want? Mark's quitting. He's going to come work for you.
4.4 plus a pension, which is how much?
How much is that pension?
So I'm giving you the numbers at 62 on a lump sum basis, 850 on an annuitized basis, depending on the option. If I split the baby, let's call it $37.50 a month.
Boy, that's damn good. How much you guys spend?
Nothing.
No, pretty
No,
decent
I mean,
amount.
he probably makes. He could make five. I don't know. He's in a client-facing job. I'm going to guess how much he makes, but let's see. Like, what do you spend right now?
On a monthly basis, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 15,000 a month. I mean, it's Jill, as you know, right, living where, in the Northeast, taxes certainly take a big chunk of that. We're definitely have had lifestyle creepage around things like vacations, the nice to haves. We're not car people. My wife has a 9-year-old Jeep Cherokee. I think vacations are probably our big spend.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. 2 to
2.5 trips a year. And the bigger, there's always a trip that involves, the need for a passport.
Yep. I got you. All right. But you make a lot of money. So I'm guessing that you make, like, what do you make? Like 800, 900 grand a year?
My base is 415,000.
Yeah, plus.
I have a bonus target of 45%, meaning, if everything goes well, right, my variable bonus is
so
45%. And then because of my role, I have another element for production, which probably has averaged about another 100 a year.
Oh, so call me a liar. I said 800 or 900. You're making more like 700. That's a beautiful thing. I know it's not a guarantee.
You're in the ballpark.
Okay.
Full disclosure, I realize these are good issues to have.
No, of course you don't have to apologize. We are happy for you. So what I am understanding from you is that you're managing your own money. Do you need an actual retirement? You've got plenty of money. We know that by the time you claim whatever, you'll get your pension of 45 grand, and then you'll have probably another almost 50, and probably with your wife's another 75 grand of Social Security. You got a lot of money that will be coming in to help support that 180 spend, right? And and of course, it's after tax, so I understand that. But you have a lot of money. So if you think about it, you really don't need, from your 4.4 right this second, okay? Chances are you can generate all the money you can need, whatever you want. 10 years from now, you're going to be fine. Mark, is there a hole in this plan? Because I don't see one. So just
no. This guy works in the industry. He knows the numbers. He knows that in 10 years, when he's 56 years old, he's going to have around $10 million, and that's not even, he's saving $100,000 a year, plus the pension, so we're good.
We're good. We're all good. So I guess the question that we have is, do you need a financial plan? Nah, you probably don't. But do you need to be smart about getting that money out of your traditional plan? Should you be thinking if if in 10 years you're 56 years old, 58 years old, 15, I don't know when you're really going to call it quits. Should you start converting some of that money? Maybe converting your money would be a really smart thing to do when your tax bracket drops down. We'll see what taxes are. But you're in great shape. You're in amazing shape. I think you know that. But I don't think you need a full-blown financial plan. I guess that if you were, God forbid, to drop dead right now, do you have some life insurance?
I do. I have term on myself. I have because of my role at work, I have a policy through my company for 3x salary. So, my wife and child would be well taken care of from a life insurance policy.
Do you feel anxious at all about any of this?
A little bit. There is one thing that I omitted that, and this is, if I had to look at this independently, if that's even possible, of the money in the brokerage, which is the IRA and the after tax brokerage, I do have an extraordinarily outsized position. About 1 million of the 4.2 or 4.4 is a single position.
Is it your employer?
No, it's.
If you tell me Apple, we just spoke to a guy who had a $3 million brokerage account with 2.7 in Apple.
It is Apple.
Oh my God, Mark, this is crazy.
And I will tell you, and this should be, I feel like a lesson for a lot of people. My cost basis on Apple is less than $1.
This guy had a zero. He beats you.
Okay. I bought the stock in 2003 because the gentleman sitting next to me brought in an iPod to work, and I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And I went out and bought it the next day, and I thought everyone is going to want one of these. And I took almost every dollar I had and I bought Apple stock equally between my Roth and my brokerage account. My Roth, I never contributed. I think my total contributions into my Roth were $25,000 over 3 or 4 or 5 years. And literally Apple has taken it to, $1 million.
Mark, do you want to just replay what I just said, or do you want to say it? You say it, Mark.
What did you just say? Let's go. What are we doing here?
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? So listen, you don't need to sell any of it because there's no need to do anything, right? Are you charitable?
Yes.
Have you set up a Fidelity charitable trust or one of the big? I don't know if you clear through Schwab.
Yeah, Fidelity. Actually, I have considered it for right now. I'm fine just cash flowing it. I recognize I can donate shares.
Dude, you got to be crazy. It is an unbelievable tool. I can't explain this like in stronger terms. If you take some of that Apple stock and you put it into a Fidelity charitable account, you get a tax deduction today for the entire amount. You do not pay capital gains on that. So just like you would gift shares to I'm just going to make it up, like, the Red Cross, right? You'd gift shares. You would gift shares into this Fidelity charitable account and you'd get a tax deduction for everything. And you don't have to give the money away this year. You can give it away in the future.
Yeah.
I think you have to be looking at that. I think it's such a smart thing to use. I love it. I use it all the time. You get invited to these like charitable events, and like even if it's a small thing, I'm like, oh, you know what? I can use this. I do like my big ride. I do a big ride for the LGBTQ Center of New York City, and I had them add to a feature where you can use your donor advised fund, which is what these charitable accounts are, at checkout. And guess what? My donations have gone up. Because people are like, oh, it's so easy. I can just click and then it goes straight to your Fidelity charitable. Anyway, I think that's an amazing thing. If you've got $1 million in Apple stock, I get it. It's beautiful. Bless your heart. But there is tax that's going to be due on it. Yeah. And the tax rates right now are actually pretty low. And they may go up in the future. So I would just encourage you to look at that and say, I don't have to do anything with it. I could just let it roll. It's fine. But if I'm going to be charitable anyway, why don't I take a couple $100,000, push it in, or 100,000 this year and 100,000, like while you're still making a lot of money, you're in a high tax bracket. Why not use this to your advantage and then have it fund your future charitable contributions? I love it. I mean, I don't want to be a shill for anyone, but for this, I could be a serious shill.
Yeah, I've looked into it. It's on the radar. And certainly something I'd be happy and willing to share, because it's kind of a 2-for-1, right?
Yeah,
it's putting it's putting
you and it helps
into the world, and it's also a financial.
And it helps you exactly.
Well.
Helps you, helps them. Last question: estate docs done?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything else for us?
No. This was helpful. I think. Again, in the absence of having, a second set of eyes on this over the last almost 20 years, I think the affirmation that, again, I think what I have been doing is so simple. I could write it on a piece of paper for anyone in less than 5 minutes, and I probably could explain it to a 10-year-old.
You know that you could have written the book that Helene Olin wrote with Harold Pollack, which was it was a very cute concept, and it was something called like the index card plan or something. And literally, they have 10 rules, all the financial advice you'll ever need on one card. And can I read you the 10 rules?
Sure.
Number 1, strive to save 10 to 20% of your income. Number 2, pay your credit card balance in full every month. Number 3, max out your 401k and other tax advantage savings accounts. 4, never buy or sell individual stocks. That's not you. I'm going to just say that's on their rules. 5, buy inexpensive, well-diversified index mutual funds and exchange-traded funds. 6, make your financial advisor commit to the fiduciary standard. Doesn't apply to you.
Yep.
7, buy a home when you are financially ready. You did that. 8, insurance. Make sure you're protected. You got that. 9, do what you can to support the social safety net. You're going to do that with your New Fidelity charitable account. Number 10, remember the index card. So the only one you didn't do, which disproves the index card, is never buy or sell individual stocks. But since you have it, let's take advantage of it. I love it. I think you're in great shape. Mark, any final thoughts for our friend in New Jersey?
Nope. Bravo. Well done.
Well done. Freaking A. Amazing. So we thank you so much for joining us, and we will look forward to hearing more about how the next 10 years go. Stay in touch because we're happy to be here for you. Okay, if you want to be like Dan and come on the air with us, all you need to do is go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter and check out our subscription service, Jill on Money Live. I'm hopeful to be announcing our first webinar guest anytime soon. I'm making that up because I don't really know, but I am hopeful for that. We'll see. Anyway, you got to check it out. What's our price, Mark? You did it. So you make sure you tell everybody what the price is.
45.
45. Everyone, you can try to translate that in your minds, or just know it's $45 for a full year. It's still a bargain, Mark. Still a bargain. I'll tell you that right now. So do that. Join us for 4 quarterly webinars, bonus content. It's really great. I mean, I just feel very comfortable saying that I know you're not going to be disappointed in that. So that's where we go. That's what we're going to do. And we hope you join us. Mark Talercio is the co-host and executive producer and king of all things web. We are distributed by Paramount Global. We drop episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. And of course, please try to do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.
Paramount Podcasts.